At 3 o'clock in the night, someone was standing outside our tent,
alone.
and they were talking to me in my own voice. I rescued my friend Tyler from the hostile jungle and brought him into the car. He was absolutely fine, but suddenly my eyes fell on his feet. Then he said, "I thought we had escaped from that shadow of the jungle." But as soon as I looked in the car's rearview mirror, my friend Tyler wasn't there instead. Hey guys, what I'm about to tell you isn't some internet creepypasta. This happened to my buddy Tyler and me last fall in the high desert country of northern Arizona. If you know anything about the Southwest, you know there are places out there where the locals don't go after dark. Places where the silence feels heavy. We were on a week-long backpacking trip, trying to get away from the noise of the city. By day 4, we were deep in Navajo County, way off the marked trails. The terrain was beautiful but brutal. Cliffs, thick pine forests, and massive canyons. It started around twilight on Thursday. We were setting up our tent when the forest just died. I don't mean it got quiet. I mean the crickets stopped, the wind froze, and even the birds vanished. It was that absolute, suffocating silence that makes your ears ring. Tyler looked at me, his face pale in the fading light. "Hey man," he whispered, like he was afraid of waking something up. "Do you smell that?" I sniffed the air. It hit the back of my throat like a wall. It was the pungent copper stench of rotting meat mixed with old pennies. It was copper and decay. Then, we heard it. From the tree line, about 50 yards away. "Help!" It was a voice. But it didn't sound right. It sounded flat, like a recording played on a broken speaker. It had no emotion, no cadence, just a hollow, monotone whisper. "Please, somebody help me." Tyler immediately grabbed his flashlight, but I caught his arm. My dad used to tell me old legends about this area. He always said, if you hear someone calling your name in the woods at night, you don't look, and you damn sure don't answer. "Tyler, don't," I said, my heart hammering against my ribs. "Look at the pacing of the words. It's not breathing between sentences." We stared into the dark. The flashlight beam cut through the pines, and for a split second, the light caught a pair of eyes. But they weren't deer eyes. They were glowing a dull, sickly orange-red, reflecting the light from way too high up, at least 7 feet off the ground. And the eyes weren't side by side like a normal animal. They were slightly tilted, uneven. Whatever it was, it dropped onto all fours with a loud, sickening crack, like bones snapping and reshaping themselves, and vanished into the brush. We didn't sleep, obviously. We crawled into our tent, zipped it shut, and sat there with our hunting knives out, staring at the nylon walls. Hours passed. Around 3 a.m., the dead hours, the sounds started again. But it wasn't the voice anymore. It was the sound oft the voice anymore. It was the sound of something heavy walking around our tent. Thud, thud, thud. It was walking on 2 legs. Then it would stop, and we'd hear the sound of a dog panting. A massive, heavy dog right outside the tent wall. I could literally see the nylon fabric indenting slightly as something leaned against it, sniffing. Then the psychological warfare began. The entity started mimicking us. It spoke in my voice, perfectly copying a conversation Tyler and I had 2 days ago. "Pass the canteen, man. I'm thirsty." My own voice echoed from outside the tent. Tyler looked at me, tears of absolute terror in his eyes. He put his hands over his ears. The thing outside heard him move. It chuckled. It was a raspy human laugh that turned into a distorted coyote howl, ending in a high-pitched shriek that made our teeth ache. We held our breath until the sun finally broke through the trees. Guys, if you're enjoying the vibe, please hit that like button and subscribe. We work super hard on these videos for you. Now, back to the story. The moment it was daylight, we didn't even pack the tent. We grabbed our packs, left the gear, and practically sprinted back toward the trailhead. We had a 6-mile hike ahead of us through dense woods, and we knew we were being watched. Every few hundred yards, we'd hear a snap of a twig to our left, then to our right. It was hurting us, keeping us on a specific path. About 2 miles from my truck, Tyler stumbled. He tripped over an exposed root and went down hard, twisting his ankle. He screamed in pain. "I can't walk on it, dude. It's broken." He panicked, clutching his leg. I looked back. The shadows between the trees seemed to be stretching, even though it was midday. The copper smell was back, stronger than ever. I knew if we stayed there, we were dead. "Get on my back," I yelled, hoisting him up. Tyler is a big guy, at least 180 pounds, but adrenaline is a hell of a drug. I carried him, stumbling, sweating, panting, pushing through the brush. I could hear something crashing through the trees right behind us, getting closer and closer. The heavy, uneven footsteps of a creature that didn't belong in this dimension. Finally, the trees cleared. My truck was sitting there in the gravel lot. I practically threw Tyler into the passenger seat, slammed his door, ran around to the driver's side, jumped in, and locked the doors. I turned the key, and the engine roared to life. I didn't look back. I put the truck in reverse, sprayed gravel everywhere, and tore down the dirt mountain road toward the highway. We drove in absolute, stunned silence for about 20 minutes until we hit the main state highway. The sense of relief was washing over me. We made it. We were safe. I looked over at Tyler. He was staring straight ahead out the windshield, his face completely blank. He wasn't clutching his ankle anymore. He wasn't sweating. "Man," I breathed, my hands still shaking on the steering wheel. "I thought we were done for. How's your ankle feeling? We need to find a hospital." Tyler didn't turn his head. He just kept staring at the road. Then he spoke. But his voice didn't sound like Tyler anymore. It sounded flat, monotone, like a recording played on a broken speaker. "I can't walk on it, dude. It's broken." My blood ran completely ice cold. My heart stopped. I looked down at his feet. Tyler was wearing muddy hiking boots when we started the trip. But the feet of the person sitting next to me? They were completely clean. In fact, he wasn't wearing boots at all. I looked up at the rearview mirror, checking the reflection of the passenger seat. Tyler's reflection wasn't a human. Sitting in my passenger seat, staring straight ahead, was a massive, hairless, gray creature with uneven, glowing orange eyes, smiling a mouth full of jagged, human teeth. I looked back at the road, my hands freezing on the wheel as the creature slowly turned its head toward me, its bones popping and snapping in the confined space of the truck. In my own voice, it whispered, "Thanks for the ride."